This is day 462 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored by Rabbi Cohen on the occasion of his father, Harav Eliezer ben Yosef Cohen's yard site, 25th of Elul. Rabbi Eliezer Cohen was my wife's Rebbe move-up in high school in Detroit, from which she learned a tremendous amount, and from whom she was inspired immensely. And the Neshama Shav and Aliyah. If you'd like to sponsor an upcoming Shir Mar Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Shin Gimel Sipi Daled to Seif Chaf. Good dollar. Rabbeinu says, "Kosem Sif Tes Lo Teitzev Machan Nekuva." We already discussed this at some length yesterday. A woman should not go out with a needle which has a hole in it. The Vim Yotzav, she did chayav, she's liable to a chatas because it's a tool, not an adornment, and therefore it is considered to be a burden. If there's no hole in it, in Mamida Mamedes Bakishrev, she used it in order to hold the knotted hair covering or something else of her garments. Teres, let's say, suppose she's allowed to go out with it. She's not using it to hold those knots in place. Also, it's awesome rabbanan, but she's not allowed to go out with it. I can't show. To Mamedes Kishura, if this is holding her head covering in place, Lo T'Shalfein, she's not going to remove those pins. Lo T'Shalfein, because she doesn't want to reveal her hair in public. Mishnah Berurah writes, some Achronim say that this is specifically when the needle is not made for adornment. But if it's made for adornment, it's Asma Rabbana, because she might take it out and show it, even if her hair is going to get uncovered, which is a bit of a plia. And indeed, it says that some people say no matter what, since it's for the purpose of tznius, it's okay, and therefore you don't have to protest. Those are lenient. I would say the Arukh HaShulchan is not, it doesn't just say not to protest, but that it's mutter under those circumstances. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. It's not there to hold the knots in place. She sticks that needle into a scarf. Also, it's forbidden because maybe she'll take it out and show it. If it's serving no purpose whatsoever, she's definitely not chatas, even though it has no hole in it, because it's not an adornment, which would still be make it us rabbanan perhaps. So therefore, it is she's chayav chatas. Again, this is the normal way of taking it out. Shisham darkly saw if it's in the place where her hair she has knots in her hair covering where she normally carries it. It's not holding them in place. It's not serving any purpose. It's not holding those knots in place. It's not serving any purpose. She's liable to chatos. But if it's not in a normal place, but it's stuck into a garment, that's not the way you normally take it out. Actually, the Mishnah Berurah argues in that. He holds that it is derech hotzah. That's a major machlekes. He holds that actually is going to be a chiyuv deraisa, because derech hotzah of this pin for a woman is stuck into a garment. So that's a big machlekes. But the Arukh HaShulchan holds not derech hotzah, and because he says, "K'mosh kasav nusim shin alav sof sif nun ches ayin sham." Beishu kasav, so they'll say the machan nekuva, if it's a needle which has a hole in it, I feel my bed if she's using it to hold the hair covering in place, she's liable for a chatas, and the Mishnah Berurah in fact practices that way. Those who say that she's exempt, because that's not the normal derech hotzah. Arukh HaShulchan says something else like this is all very astonishing. The camera compared to Shamesh Bo Shimush Lebegadeh, since she's using it in some purpose for her garments, how can you say she's chayav? I feel derech hotzah, even this is the normal way to take it out. She's not taking something out. It's useful for the garment. We like wrote by a man. If the pin is serving in lieu of a button or some other fastener, why should it be forbidden? שלגבורים פרק ו' וזה לשונו הראש כוסב שהאיש יוצא ממחט שמאמנת לו קישורים woman is allowed to go out with a needle or pin which uses to hold her knots in place and also with a needle with which holds her hair which she holds her hair in place and it doesn't matter if the needle has a hole or not. but in actuality, our pins, which don't have holes, it's not shaykh by them that you might come to show it. There's really it's not really an adornment in any way, shape, or form. The title mind that somebody says you have to say that by them it was an adornment in some way. Like we have by us occasionally large and nice pins that women stick into their scarves. There's a long brackets here. I don't understand it. Either. Rabbi says back it's true. But that which she wrote, that which we quoted before in the name of Mishnah, if it's made like jewelry, even if it's holding the knots in place, it's usher because she might come to take it out and show it. It's not clear at all. When Mashal had you located, Mara seems quite clear that if she can't take it out without her head covering falling off, it's not a problem. But he says Sham. Sif Mem Gimel Lo Kasa. Sorry, but it says B'Shem Smag. It says inside Lo Kasa Amamedes Kishurel. She's not writing about a place where it actually holds the knots in place. And Sham. But Tzarchim calls that. Oh, it's unclear. Medina to Einaf Kamina. By us, it's not here. The Anu Lo Chashina Lo Shalfa Machle. Bombshell here. We're not concerned in our age. We're not going to take the jewelry off and show it. Unashim Shalom Yotzes B'Tachshitim because she's Barbara Simon Zet. And as we shall see, our women do go out with jewelry on Shabbos. But just a needle which has a hole in it, which they forbid even if it's used to hold the knots in place. So I can go to. Arukh says, I'm not clear on that either. He thinks that actually the custom was to use a regular sewing needle as to hold the knots in place even on Shabbos. A woman should not go out with a signet ring. If she did, she's liable. If it doesn't have a signet on it, she shouldn't go out with it. And she goes out, she's exempt. Thomas is born as Barab Shimon Shin obviously from Hey and Sham. She'll go out with khiyar, which is kind of a clasp, which holds together the openings of her blouse. If she moves that clasp, her shoulder's not going to open up, and you'll see her what's underneath. Because if that was the case, we certainly would not be concerned that she's going to take her up and show it to anybody. Just like concerned with the pin which holds the hair covering in place. Some say it's a type of necklace. It's a type of tiara. They say what's a kovelos? It's a knot in which she puts fragrance. Which has a good fragrance, obviously. And women who have a bad odor, they carry with them. The tachshidu, it's jewelry. But because Rina and Dilma Shalfa Mchavi were concerned, maybe she'll take it off and show it. Tesai, if she has a missing tooth, she puts another tooth in its place. It's a gold tooth, she can go out with it. They came in the Shem Shune Bemara Mishar Shinaim, since it looks different than all other teeth. Shema Yela Gola May, they're going to make a mockery of her. Shal Klolei, and she goes to remove the tooth. She's going to carry it 4 hours of Shusarabit. And we should kiss, but it's silver mutter. That's okay. The came with you love on, because silver has a whitish gleam. It's like other teeth. And they won't make a mockery of her. Koshke chain. The other mutter, so if she has a replacement human tooth, that's certainly permissible. So and today the doctors make teeth out of bone. And they look exactly like natural teeth, and you'd be allowed to wear them out on Shabbos. You'd sign, don't they take me al karula malo? A woman should go out with a shoe which is ripped on top. She'll go in there, they're going to mock her. She's going to remove it, she's going to come to carry it. Go out with a new shoe, because maybe it's not the right size. Unless she tried yesterday to make sure it was her size. But a man, that's okay. Even if it's not precisely the size. He's not, so it causes him tremendous pain, obviously. He's not so meticulous about this. He's not going to take it off because he's embarrassed it's the wrong size. So to everything where the issue is that maybe he'll be embarrassed, men are not concerned about this in most matters. And other garments other than the shoes are not concerned even by women. The lotiv shara mabush biluch is not going to take off her garment when she's walking out of Rosh Hashanah. The only time it's exception is if a person goes out with one shoe on and one shoe off. In that case, we're also concerned that a man might feel mocked and scoffed, and he might take off the other shoe and carry it. Because I'm seeing the base iron shop. This is a wig, a shaitel. She can go out wear it out. Whether they made it for her own hair, which means you wear a shaitel of your own hair, or hair of a friend. But even it's animal hair. As long as it's not an old woman going out with the shaitel of a young woman, and a young woman going out shaitel of an elderly woman. They'll both be mocked for age inappropriateness. They're going to take it off their head. They'll follow the top to 4 hours. They're going to carry 4 hours just so rabbin. It's because they also have their own hair. If it's the white wig on black hair or black wig on white hair, it is disgusting. As the Mishnah Talta, she's not going to show it around, but she's going to take it off and carry it as opposed to wearing it. Yudches, Yotzeh b'kesher shosim lefuas kituf ayin hara shelo yishlot. You can go out with a certain knot which people make to remove the ayin hara, that it should not take effect on people. Umocha kashur mudak b'nei. She doesn't go out with a cotton wad which is tied to and pressed into her ear. Moshe samandala or sandala kashur b'sandala, and also with a cotton, I guess, sole which she puts in her shoe, which is tied to the shoe. The Shibur Shatzian say the Lashon Shulchan Aruch doesn't even has to be tied to the shoe. But the Rambam says that it has to be muhudak, tight in the shoe. And the Parish of the Mishnah writes that both in the ear and on a foot, it has to be tight, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is that a woman can go to this out with according to Arukh HaShulchan, with this moch shebasandala kashur sandala, this padding, as long as it's actually tied to the sandal. And that's an open sandal. If it's a sandal or a shoe which is closed on all sides, I feel in a kosher, even if it's not tied on, mutter, it's permissible. It's not going to fall off, came to him because the shoes are closed. She can also go out with a kind of tampon which she prepared for being a nida, in order the blood should not fall out on her and cause her anguish. But if it's not, she's actually doing it to protect her garments. She's carrying this moch, this tampon inside in order not to get her garments dirty. Also, that's forbidden. The chol tzuli tinov, anytime we're doing it in order to say so you're getting dirty, have masui. It's a burden. Unless it's really a complete and total real garment. But if we're trying to protect the body, then it's need of her body. Mutzis for missile feel ain't a kosher even if it's not tied on. Not concerned it's going to fall and she's going to come to carry it. Because since it's disgusting, that obviously this tampon thing, if she's or whatever the thing is down there, she's not going to come to carry it. And even if it has a handle, still it's not going to carry it because it's very disgusting. And the reason why it has a handle is because it's disgusting. The Chemut has to say, with pepper in her mouth, with gargan melech, and with salt in her mouth, which is to take away bad halitosis, bad breath. And then the other fragrance she puts into her mouth. But she will not put them in her mouth initially on Shabbos, because like refuah, we're concerned that you might come to grind herbs as a result. It's just like people do by all medicines. Or else because it looks like she's doing a ruse in order to able to take them out on Shabbos. According to this, you wouldn't be allowed to put the cotton wads in your ear either on Shabbos. Mishabura says, no, cotton wads are different, that it's clear that she needs it and it doesn't look like she's doing a ruse. But stuff in her mouth, it's not clear that she needs it, it looks like a ruse. But the Arukh HaShulchan is dubious about that. He wants to say that she's allowed to take out, she should be allowed to take out these the stuff which she puts in her mouth on Shabbos, before Shabbos. So if it fell out of her mouth, she shouldn't back. Whether it fell on the ground, fell in a vessel. That's for the second reason of looks like a ruse. But according to the first reason that you shouldn't put it on Shabbos itself, because you might come to grind the herbs, that's when it specifically fell on the ground, because then it's like a new pudding as opposed to it fell somewhere else, not on the ground, when it's considered to be a continuation. You test. The Chimut test says she's allowed to go with kind of stockings. Which she ties with the garter belt around her thighs. Even though the string which she used to tie around her thighs is not directly connected to the stockings. We're not concerned that they're going to fall down. Because it's going to definitely tie them on well. And we said even though it's not tied, it doesn't have to have a permanent tie to the thighs. We're not considering she's going to take off the stockings and show them, or the garment and show it. It's not jewelry. I feel like a tashin, even if it was jewelry, low to Galashok, is not going to uncover her thigh. She could go out with a bracelet which people put on their arms or on their thighs. We should take the vukal basa as long as it's adhering closely to the flesh. For low tashmita is that someone may it's not going to easily fall off the arm or the thigh. And we're not concerned again that she might take it out and show it. Because a woman's not going to reveal her arm or her leg. Because those who say by the arm, it's because they're afraid they're just going to take it out and show it. There's a little bit of a chiddush here. The arm is sometimes open. It's not like her thigh or even her calf, according to Arukh HaShulchan probably. Which is always covered. There's a general principle here. The anything which Chachamim say she can go out with, She can go out even if she's rabbin with it. Not concerned she's going to carry 4 amos just rabbin. The king of going amru she does the mukhachas. So that's the Rebbe said this time, which is neat and necessary for her. He came in melech she tatir she's rabbin tachzor v'tikshirenu. So if she happens for a moment to take her up, she's immediately going to put it back on. She's not going to come to carry it. Let's say it was just rabbin. Anything which is going to forbade to go out with him, which is rabbin. Also, it says about the chutzer shein rabbin. She's also not allowed to wear into the chutzer, which has no eruv. V'hachi yisab b'gemara amar Rav kol shasur chachamim. Let's say it was just rabbin. Rav said anything which chachamim forbade you to go out in a public domain with. Also, it says about the chutzer not allowed to go into a private domain as well. Chutz there's no eruv. Chutz mikavul upeyot lachris, except for the adornment on the top of the head, or a wig. In order to not become disgusting in her husband's eyes. Rabbi Anani bar Sasim Sher Yishmael Mahar Kol Kavul. Everything is like this kavul. No jewelry is permitted in the yard. And there's no eruv. Basel Pascha Rifa Rambam Karav that it's usher. Matav Shkos Gam Lachatzer Lav Gezer Gzera. And the reason they made this decree also for the Chatzar, it's not Gzera on a Gzera. He the Kimul Rabbanan Dim Teitze B'Chatzar Teitze Gam Shusram, because the Rabbanan assume she's going to go to Chatzar, she's going to have Shusram, so if you have to prevent her already, nip it in the bud. Chatzar Rama, the Chatzar who she'enu Mureves, Toy Bar Koya, which has no eruv. Davi Karmas, which is like a Karmas, have a Chatzar Mureves, but the Chatzar has no mutter. The Kosh can buy it, it goes outside, it's permitted in the house. From Abba Rashi, because the Chatzar Mureves also no. So also even the guard which has an eruv. And the Kosh came of ice. Not sure what it's a Kosh came, but still forbidden in the house. Oh no, I went back. Because the Chatzar Merev is also who adim of ice. It's also true about the house. There's going to go to the discussion, but in Klacham said no jewelry. The discussion by the Shusram, she wears the jewelry, she doesn't go out, so she's around with it. I read it on Pasak Rabbi Anoni. He passes the kol kikovel, everything which is like this. Everything is like this hair, this thing on her hair. Mutar b'chol tarshishin, and she's allowed to go without all jewelry that says Chatzar Shem Reves into a courtyard which has no air. They were shown like the first opinion. V'zai should know the Divrei Osrim, because those who forbidly skashit gam b'beisam, even to adorn themselves in the house. Yesh Osrim lavimi pesak mavik mafteach. Those are forbidden to bring a key. I feel Chatzar Reves, even if it's a yard which has an Arab. El biyado only his hand below b'chagura so, but not in his belt. Shema yishkach v'yotzei shusra, because he might forget, take out the shusrabi. Kama sh'adam yetze darach mabush. Any which person wears around, yeshachushi yotzei bo l'shusrabi, and be concerned like shusrabi, and not in a manner obviously which is permissible. Mashkin shedavar biyado, as opposed to when something's on his hand. V'chein babayis, and so to, well, it was in his hands, I guess we're not concerned he's going to take out Shus Rabbin. And also in the house it would be forbidden to wear one's belt of adornment for the same reason. Okay, the Arukh HaShulchan tomorrow will deal with why all these things are not observed rigorously in our day and age.